I was in the city of God, St. Augustine, Florida. It's one of the oldest cities in the world because it's been here since before the United States has been here. For many centuries, the city of God in the United States was here. So it means that Columbus didn't discover America. The Spaniards did, if anything, and it might have been the Vikings did. But ultimately, there's many people, including the Indians, that were here already. St. Augustine was a place I went to actually visit. And when I went there, I ended up leaving on a moment's notice because the help that God was going to give me, I didn't want to receive. At the time, I did not know that God was going to help me do anything when I went there. But I did go to St. Augustine, the city of God, which is in Florida. And I was there in 2018. And I ended up leaving kind of on like literally leaving in a moment's notice without taking my things with me. I just got on my moped and drove out of Florida on a moped. So I went through 5 states on a moped in 2018. I knew when I went to St. Augustine, something was special about it. I also knew that there was some opportunity I had. I also knew that when I left, I blew the opportunity and that I didn't have it anymore. And ultimately, I didn't know much more than that because that's all I knew is that I left there. I felt like leaving. In a panic, I left, and I left like I was running for my life, like I was trying to survive. And then years later, I found St. Augustine, the actual saint that is a saint of the Christian church and that was around during the fall of Rome. And he writes about the city of God, and then he compares it to Troy. Ultimately, he talks about mythology and all the gods and goddesses. And when I read that, I was blown away because I didn't associate the city of God with Troy, and I didn't associate Augustine with Troy or mythology. But he talks about it in his books. In a lot of places, he talks about the goddesses, and Minerva in particular, Hera, Zeus, Mars, Artemis, Apollo, all the gods and goddesses. I missed a lot of them. I wish I could name them all off. The city of God is St. Augustine's version of Troy and remembering Troy. It's ultimately what he does in his books and in his writings. If you read his writings, you'll read all about how he's always talking about mythology a lot. And he'll compare using the gods and goddesses in Troy as an example to his understanding when he's talking Christian talk, which is very unheard of and surprising. You wouldn't think so. You wouldn't think it would happen anywhere. I certainly didn't think I'd ever see it. But when I did see it, I was definitely shocked because Christian saints that are venerated and famous don't talk about mythology like it's real. But he did talk about mythology like it's real. And in fact, the way that he actually uses mythology to express in many of his understandings is unbelievably real. He was a good saint for a bad saint. And if God said that saints are no good, they go against me and they, in the name of me, well, that might be the wrong God talking, the false God talking. But if it's the right God talking, he might say that, well, they're dedicating their entire life to me and me only. So whether you're talking to the false God or the real God, well, just better know which one you're talking to. And I think he talked to both of them and all of them. And he probably got information from the false gods and the real gods. And of course, he knew who the false gods were. But I'm sure he was talking to them because they were probably telling him everything he knew. Because understand that the false gods will tell you about mythology and they won't tell you about Christian theology. And the real gods will tell you about Christian theology and not mythology. So that you get the actual combination in St. Augustine, which is a combination of he somehow knew the false gods and the real gods and talked to them all. So he had a view that was unheard of and spectacularly different, and ultimately because he was a saint, he didn't share a lot of stuff that I share. And so I'm only supplementing what he wrote and what he said in a way that I'm not trying to take his fame or say I'm a saint. I'm certainly no saint. In fact, I'll not be a saint. Understand that if I was a saint, no, I'm not. And don't tell me I'm going to die because I'm a saint and I'm martyred. I'm not going to martyr myself, and I'm not going to allow myself to be martyred. So I will not be your saint. And ultimately, that's my feeling. And my false God tells me that. And yeah, because he doesn't want me to die. He says, you want to be a saint and you want to be a martyr? You want to die? No. Well, then get the hell out of the idea that you're going to be wanting to be a saint. You're no saint. You want to be anything but a saint. Do you understand me? Yeah. Do you want to live? Yeah. Well, then you won't be no saint. You won't even like no saint. Okay, so are saints bad? Well, maybe I'm telling you they're martyred dead, maybe. So isn't it bad they're martyred dead? And you're going to be one? Martyred dead? No, that wouldn't be good. Well, then you ain't want to be no saint. The Chronicles of Saint Denis remind me of the Charles Martel, the French line of kings that came from Troy. We're French line of kings. Wow. I understand I'm making it hard on you. I understand I'm making it very hard on you. And you're going to get through it, even though you're sure you're not. You're going to get through it because I'm going to bring you through it. I'm going to make you survive, but I'm going to put you through a lot of pain and suffering. And I'm going to make you suffer badly until you can't handle it or think you can't handle it. And I'm going to bring you right to the edge of your insanity when you can't handle it anymore and you're screaming out for pain and help me, God, help me. No more. I can't take anymore. I'm going to bring you right to that threshold where you can't take anymore. And then I'm going to stop right there on the threshold and point it out to you. That I didn't throw you beyond the threshold, but I took you all the way to it. You'll be able to be mad at me over that. But if that's the truth, that you're mad at me over that, then you probably won't come out of it alive. But if you're mad at me about that, and then you realize that that's just the way it is, and you don't really have a right to be really mad about that since I'm God and you're not, then you might survive all that you're trying to survive, even if that's killing you. Well, that might also be why you survive. So understand, something that might be killing you might be saving you. Something that might be saving you might be killing you. And if you want that to be saved by that, well, then it won't be killing you. And if you're being killed by that, then it won't be saving you. So understand, if it is that you're being killed, you need to stop doing that. And if it is that you're being saved, you need to keep doing that. So you need to find out if you're being saved by whatever you're doing that is either killing you or saving you. And if it's killing you and saving you, you're in trouble. Because you won't be able to stop doing or start doing if you can't. You won't decide if it's saving you and killing you. You won't be able to decide whether you could stop or not. If it's saving you, you have to determine, is it saving you or is it killing you? You'll certainly feel like it's doing both, saving you and killing you. You'll concentrate on the part that's killing you, and you'll say that you need to stop doing that, whatever it is. But if you do stop doing that, it may be that maybe it even gets worse or better, or it switches places. So the part that was saving you is now killing you, and the part that was killing you is now saving you. And you realize that the part that was killing you is now saving you, and you got it to be saving you, but now the part that was saving you is killing you, and they switch sides somehow, and now it's still unfair because no matter what you do, you can't make it work. You'll find a place where it seems like you can't make it no matter what you do. And you'll also find a area where you're going to feel like Like you're just not going to make it. There's just no way. I understand that your feelings will feel like there's no way you're going to make it. You're not even having a chance. But if you have God talking to you at that time, telling you that you're feeling it and knowing that you know that you've been told by God that you're going to feel this way, you're going to feel like you can't make it no matter what. You're going to feel like you don't have a chance. Do you understand me? And you're telling me that, God? Yes. I want you to get through it and be strong and do not fall down. Okay, great. So you're warning me that I'm going to have feelings that are just going to feel like I'm being destroyed. And I want you to not be destroyed. I want you to conquer those feelings and live through them and survive them. I want you to become the devil or Satan and freaking survive it. Say what? You heard me. If you think you could become a saint and survive it, by all means, why don't you begin now? Well, what am I going to do? Well, you want to be a saint and survive it? Why don't you go ahead and see if you're going to survive it? Maybe you won't be martyred, but you still won't survive it. So you're trying to say that I can be a saint? You won't survive it. Saints don't survive, and they're martyred often. So then what do you mean trying to say that Satan or the devil might survive it? Do you think there's anyone else that might survive it? Well, I don't know. Can't Jesus survive it? Certainly if he does survive it. But if he doesn't, then no, he couldn't. He'd have to be resurrected, and don't think he survived it. He was resurrected, and he didn't survive it. But he got resurrected after. So don't think he did survive it. Okay, so you're trying to say that Jesus can't survive it. He died on the cross. Don't tell me he survived it. Yeah, but he was resurrected. That's besides the point. So he came back, but don't tell me he survived it. He did not. So you're trying to say Jesus can't survive it. That's correct. He will not survive it. He'll be resurrected after he dies. Okay, great. So you're trying to say that I can't try to think I'm Jesus and survive it. Well, you can think whatever you want and that you might survive it. But Jesus won't survive it, and neither will you. And if you get resurrected, well, Jesus already did. So hopefully you and him are right in alignment. So if we are in alignment, then you're saying Jesus might survive it. Well, he will survive it if he gets resurrected. And how about you? Are you going to get resurrected? Are you like Jesus, deserving everything he does? Well, what if I'm not? Well, then you won't get resurrected, but you'll die just like him. So you'll have one thing in common. Both of you will die, but only he will be resurrected. Well, what if I get resurrected? Well, then obviously you're closer to Jesus than you might think. So you're saying it's possible Jesus could survive it. Yeah, after he dies. If he gets resurrected, he'll survive it. But he did not survive it. Don't tell me he survived it if he has to die first. Great. So you're saying that Satan and the devil are going to survive it. They're not dead. They didn't die. So are they resurrected? You might as well think so. So are they strong? Well, if you can't find your strength, where are you looking for it? I don't know. I'm looking for my strength in Jesus. Okay. Did you find any? No. Well, then you keep looking, boy. I'm trying. Well, you keep looking until you die. Tell me what you found. I didn't find any strength in Jesus. Well, good. At least you're not stupid. At least you can see what's going on. So what are you saying to me? Well, where's your strength? And go find it. Where am I going to look? Go ask Satan or the devil for some strength. Maybe they'll give it to you. What, they would give me strength? Well, did you ask them for any? No, I wouldn't dare do it. I wouldn't talk to them at all. Do you think that they like you for that? Well, I don't know if they like me for that. Maybe they don't like me. Well, you don't even talk to them. Do you pray to them? Pray to the devil or Satan? No, I would never do that. Oh, you would never do that. Well, then what the hell would they like you for? They probably think you're an idiot. You should be dying on that cross like Jesus. And they already know you're not getting resurrected. Only he did. Great. So you're trying to tell me that Jesus ain't going to be able to help me unless you're close enough to him that he will be the reason why you're helped. You going to get resurrected like him? Are you a good enough boy for daddy? Well, what if I'm not? Well, then you won't get no strength from Jesus, especially if you can't even get close to him as good as he is. He was the only perfect man. You'll not even get close to him. If you're so rare of a man that you could be perfect as Jesus, then you will be resurrected. So then he is your help. But if you can't, certainly be sure of yourself that you're going to be that great, that awesome, that pure. Because only Jesus was that pure and that great and that awesome. And you're not going to ever get close to that pure and that great and that awesome. And so you will not be resurrected, even though you use Jesus as your help. Unless you take him as your help and realize that you have to become like him, actually like him. You have to be him, actually like him. And then you might have a chance. But you can't even be slightly not like him. You have to be perfect. You're trying to tell me that I have to be perfect like Jesus? Well, you can think that Jesus was perfect, and then you don't have to be perfect now, but you won't survive or ever survive that way. But that's what they're telling us, that Jesus is perfect and we don't have to be perfect. And that's what you'll also justify. You don't need to be perfect like Jesus. And then you can die like Jesus on the cross or wherever you're in your bed. But then you won't get resurrected because only perfect men get resurrected. You trying to tell me that I won't get resurrected because I'm not perfect? That's exactly why you won't get resurrected. And I'm not perfect. I don't need to get resurrected. I'm not dead. So what are you trying to say, that you're resurrected? Well, I'm alive. I'm not dead. So I don't need to get resurrected. I didn't die. So who are you? I'm Satan or the devil. I'm your bad, evil God. I'm the one who is going to destroy you and make you destroy yourself with addiction and bad things you do to yourself. And I'm going to make you hate yourself, and you're going to hate others too. And you're going to do everything wrong. And I'm going to tempt you to do it all wrong. So you're a bad, evil God? That's right. Is that right for you? Whoa, I can't believe you're trying to tell me this stuff. You're trying to say that like you're God? I am God of this world. Don't you tell me I'm not. And I'll make you die. How do you like that? Well, I don't like it. I don't want to die. Well, then you better start getting it straight, boy. You get your strength from me. Don't think you're getting it from Jesus. And if you take it from Jesus, you better be as perfect as him if you think you're getting resurrected, because you'll need to be resurrected after you die, I promise. Yeah, but I won't get resurrected if I'm not perfect. Well, now you're getting it right. And I don't need to be perfect. I'm not asking to be perfect. And I don't need to get resurrected either. So then what if I get my strength from you? Well, then you'll be strong. Yeah, but then I'll be evil and wrong and bad. Well, I'll think so, yeah. It'll be good to me, though. I don't think I'm evil and wrong and bad. I think you're evil and wrong and bad for calling yourself good and looking at me like I'm evil and wrong and bad. You don't even know who I am, boy. Maybe. I'm not a boy. You better know where your strength comes from. You better know how you get it. You better know how you won't get it. And you better know who your God is. He's a avenging, mad God who kills people every day. Wow. If I knew that, God, that you're that mean and bad and wrong, I didn't say I was mean and bad and wrong. I said, I don't think I won't be mad and wrong and mean. I'll do it all the time. I didn't say I was mean and wrong and bad. I said, maybe I'm nice and good for as long as I feel like it. So then you're not the God that I ever thought you would be. No, and you don't know who God is, do you, boy? I told you I'm not a boy. Well, I say you're a boy. You're lucky you're a boy. I kill men. So you're trying to say God protects children and fools? Well, if he does, you are one foolish child. Well, I guess I'm glad to be a foolish child in all seriousness. If I would be dead otherwise, well, then know that if God protects children and fools, you're the biggest childish fool I ever knew. Good. Then I'm actually not too feeling destroyed about it. Well, yeah, because if you're not a foolish child, you will be destroyed about it. Okay. So then I can get away with it? If you're actually a foolish child, you will get away with it. And I'll determine who's the foolish child to get away with it or not. Because if you're a man, you won't get away with it. You'll be a dead man who didn't get away with it. Okay, so I guess I have some protection of being a foolish idiot. Yeah, and don't forget the child part, because idiot won't be good enough.